Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquart.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, episode number 358 on deck this evening. Running a little bit behind our typical schedule as usual for a Memorial Day weekend. Enjoying a long overnight trip back from Bash for Cash. Highlight of the weekend was a bit of karma as we saw the sun rising over the city of Buffalo. 12 miles with the same numbers on the clock from where we totaled the minivan coming home in 2019. There was deer in the road, already splattered.
By we, you mean you. I just heard about it, the aftermath.
And then clock was a little bit further ahead and the sun was a little bit higher, but standing in the road in the same spot right outside that exit in Pembroke, there was three more just begging to be squashed. And obviously Brian didn't hit that, thankfully, and scared the crap out of him, though. I think he scared the guy next to us that we were overtaking at 90 as well. But
I've decided that deer season, I'm just going to drive up and down the thruway with my 270.
So
I'm not sure the troopers are going to be happy about that, but, you know, we saw a boatload of deer on the way home. My hat's off. Chris stayed awake for the entire trip home from Bash for Cash, which has never happened before. But we had a lot of good talks. We talked about everything under the sun on that ride home.
We spent more time talking about modified racing than we did anything else.
Yeah, we talked life. We talked a lot about life too.
Life.
Yes. It was cool though. Very happy to be back there. Go out and watch. Chris kicked ass on the pay-per-view as he always does because he is the man. It was great, just great to be out there. I haven't. Chris and I were talking before. We've kind of given Tim a break, but either Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to text because he said 6,500 people there Sunday. I thought closer to 7,500 because the stands were full where the cars came out onto the track. As far as you could see that way, there was people. Just amazing. It was a great show front to back. The grandstand drivers were complaining. It's
and the drivers were responding today on Facebook.
yeah. But you know what? We've touched on this before, and we've talked with Tim. I talked with Tim that night. You can't blame drivers for driving to win 10 grand. You just can't. The time and money they put into those cars. Yes, Demolition Derby is about wrecking cars. I get that. I would love to see, 4 70 wires classes and 4 80s wire classes and, have it over in an hour and everybody goes home happy. But I can also stand there and admire drivers that do what it takes to win 10 grand. I mean, that's, and we've said it before, if you're really that grumpy in the stands, street stocks are relatively affordable. Build yourself a street stock and come out there and take care of everybody. It got annoying. It really, truly did.
Yep. It was frustrating.
And the thing is, everybody's going, well, Tim Clark should start breaking sticks. Okay, so he breaks Jimmy, Johnny, George's, and Fred's sticks. Besides those 4 people he just broke, every one of those fans in the stands are going to be mad. So what deciphers him from breaking those and breaking 4 different ones over here? How do you break that down? Like it's, Tim is damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. It's part of the beast. I mean, you put up good money and guys are going to drive to win it. You can't blame them.
And the thing is regardless of the type of sport that you're looking at, whether it's demolition derby, whether it's circle track racing or whatever it might be, it's all at root entertainment. Mm-hmm. Whether it's pro wrestling, whether it's boxing, MMA, whether it's horse racing, whatever sport it is, Olympic swimming, gymnastics, it's still on TV because it's entertaining. Mm-hmm. So when you put that part and just put that compartment together over here and just acknowledge it at that part, it's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be. If you don't like it, shut it off. because the first people that are going to complain about everything being rigged over sticks being broken over something like the pace is the people that are complaining that they don't want to watch cars knock around. Now, I'm not a fan of a demolition derby being settled because the other guys run out of gas. I'm not. Never have been. But I don't know. It's a mixed bag. We've seen online today a lot of different theories on how to fix something that may or may not be broken depending on where you're at. There's a driving skill level that has to be there in order to maintain your focus. We talked about that with Steve with Steve Bucknam on the stream with Derby Tees. George Heinout was weighing in on that conversation as well. So there's stuff to be said on both sides of it. And our Bash for Cash follow-up coverage is going to end up spreading across 2 episodes. We just didn't have enough time to squeeze everything in today that we wanted to. Dave King right now waiting in the wings. We're going to be talking with him. We've got live chat acting up. We've got May Mania stuff to get to. Hawkeye Havoc was this weekend as well. And I talked with Casey Smith today. He wants to follow up on the youth full-size stuff. I saw Freebie Jr. was commenting, and Casey Smith was right there with watching eyes. So that was kind of interesting, and I want to get into that. So some of these things we're not going to dive into too awful deep right now. We're going to save that for the promoters follow-up next week. Quick local housekeeping note, Mini Meltdown is coming up in 2 weeks. That's going to be the 19th. 3 weeks, that's coming to be on the 19th and 20th. And then Road Rage Entertainment, June the 5th, that's in Norwich. That's coming up around the corner. We'll have to get into that stuff a little bit. So lots of stuff to unpack. Already on the chat, Marcella Benjamin checking in. She put up that her grandmother was needing some prayers. I don't know where everything is at with that, but hopefully everything's okay. Christy Germain in there. Enjoyed having the conversations and hanging out a little bit this weekend. Scott Brown got to go to a derby for the first time this century. So he was excited about that. And Gunnar Taylor, he noticed that I got a haircut, so that was exciting. They had 39 entries for the model contest, and they are going to do it again next year. I did not get a chance to get back over to that table, and I feel really bad because I wanted to see those guys, but I'm glad everything went well for them over there. I trust that the pace wasn't an issue on the model car table.
Yeah, I would guess not. But there was, in my opinion, too much complaining about slow pace, and I didn't see anywhere near enough talking about the pace of the rest of the show. I would say overall, this was probably the most aggressive bash I've seen, in my opinion. Turn Back the Clock was on the gas from beginning to end. 80s Wire was great as always. I'll put the Relic and the 70s Wire class probably in the top 3 demos I've ever seen. I still think the first mod show at Waterloo was number 1. That was, other than Blizzard Bash, which is just off the chain for the whole thing. But right. The Relic and the 70s Wire, those guys were just insane. 80s Wire class was great. The Kicker class, they were dry. They started. Tim went out and gave everybody the look, and they picked it right then. Then they picked it up, and then there was a rollover, and things kind of slowed down from there. But I said something to Chris driving home, and Chris agreed with me, is that the only place, in my humble opinion, that we see mod cars or kicker cars like that properly used is at Blizzard Bash and at those shows in New York State. They get after it, drive them wide open. But it's that's in my opinion, and Chris agreed with me. But again, I wasn't running for $10,000, and that's why I was standing on the sidelines watching. So
it's not life-changing money, but
it comes in handy.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But no, overall great weekend. Weather was really nice Sunday.
Yeah, that one day was great. The weather was awesome.
Saturday wasn't bad. Friday was a little chilly, but it was. I would take 3 days of the Friday weather just for the fact that we were finally able to get out and enjoy a big derby like that.
Yeah.
That would have been fine.
Well, we got lots going on, man. Chad is very, very busy tonight. We're going to talk to Mike Tosco a little bit later on. We're going to talk to Patrick Dellis. We're going to try and connect with Robert Groth, who came with a win in the Frank the Tank class. Waiting in the wings right now, David King coming up with a win in the Pro Stocks. We saw the $10,000 paycheck coming back to New York. He was out there with Tom Henderson, who won the kicker class back in, I think it was 2017. So this is a huge win for Dave. huge feather in the cap. There was lots to discuss about what the pace was and what it wasn't, but at the end of the day, you came home with that win, and nobody can take it away from you.
Yeah, I guess. Every now and then a squirrel finds a nut, I guess.
Hey, they cashed that check just fine today, right?
Yes, sir.
That's all that matters, buddy. That's all that matters. And that trophy looks good either in your living room or in your shop, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's in the living room for now until it starts collecting dust, and we got to take it up to the shop.
Well, Dave, man, congratulations on the win in the Pro Stocks. It turned into it was a geographical battle. You know, now that the cameras are off, I think it's safe that everybody can see that the Priors sort of had a plan, and then there was some East Coast connection that had a plan, and there was some middle of the U.S. guys had a plan, and some of those plans overlapped, and ultimately, Dave, when it came down to it, you were standing alone at the top of the heap. Tell me a little bit about how that feature played out and some of the difficulties in keeping your focus for that amount of time.
I mean, the biggest thing, I've been doing it for quite a while, but the biggest thing is, I mean, you're out there with big drivers. You're out there with Santel. You're out there with Myers. You're out there with Ty Richards, the Priors, the Roos. I mean, all these guys, the Roos, they're always at the top. And then there's, like, me. I mean, I do my best to build the best car I can and everything, but looking around at, like, the way the feature was stacked up, it's not like your county fairs at all. These guys are the guys. This is it. Like, this is the Super Bowl. And I'm out there playing with these guys. I'm usually able to get in people's heads a little bit and get them pissed so they'll start turning it up. But these guys, I can be in someone's front wheel, ripping and tearing with the backside of my bumper on their front wheel, and there is no emotion on their face at all. Like, they don't even look at you different, nothing. They just stare at you while you do it. And when you back up, you better hold on because they're going to come back with everything they got.
You referenced
excuse me?
You referenced the county fair thing. I mean, I remember meeting you for the first time out in Dunkirk and Chautauqua County, running compacts with Brian Gonzalez and Tom and Evan and all you guys out there, and seeing the progression now. Could you fall back on anything that you knew from your hometown as you got late in the going with that one?
I mean, I guess you could fall back on it. You always still look for them shots. You never want to get too far away from anybody. You don't want to take a big shot. You always want to be able to be the aggressor to an extent, but not too much to hurt your car. You always want to be watching for your friends, obviously, making sure they're not getting in a tight spot. It's the same no matter what, if you're at a county fair or bash.
Sure.
But you, to an extent, it's just like, it's big time. It's no more messing around. I mean, you're at the top of the line. It's time to go.
Now, you mentioned all the great drivers that you were on the track with. Do you think that made you a little more, like, you didn't feel as much pressure as you would be running at your hometown? Like, you know what? I mean, obviously it's a bigger show and, you know, more money on the line and, you know, more prestige, but there's a lot of quote unquote name drivers. I mean, did you just figure I'm just going to do, you know, I'm going to run my plan and whatever happens and just, you know, took it that way? Or did you feel more pressure because it was Bash, or how did that feel to you?
I mean, for an extent, yes. It's more pressure, obviously, because you're at Bash for Cash, but no matter what, you always know the drivers to look for and watch for. And, I mean, we had a couple guys with us. We brought 5 of us from New York down there, and we had some boys from down in North Carolina, Fur and Case, and Bob with us also. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, everywhere we go, we run with those guys. That's us. You know, we've got our asses kicked for years at Bash in picker cars. I mean, it's just the way it's been. The numbers have not been on our side, and we've got laid up, and that was the end of it. But, yeah, I would say I still went into it with the same, like, mentality of I got to do my thing. Don't forget, all the years of doing this, you got to keep calm. You just got to wait out the storm, or you just got to ride that ride until it's time to go. and make the shots count and don't do anything stupid, pretty much.
Yeah, Fur and Nate Case both had great runs. Fur ended up losing a fuel pump, and when the guy had the tranny blow on him, he was right behind Fur for what had 2 tires and spinning inside the rims. But they both had great runs. They're both really good drivers. So
they're phenomenal drivers. I mean, they're great. There ain't nothing. I mean, look at all this. Fur has won.
Oh, yeah.
Ethan's always racing at the end. I mean, the boys know how to drive.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Fur's the most laid back person I know in the world, man. He's just always the same look, always happy. He just laid back and just out there cruising. That's
the way you got to be. You can't let the officials get in your head no matter what, because they try to. You just can't let them in your head.
Well, it was funny because I was standing in front of the. I told Chris when I go to the shows, if I'm not in a booth, I like to be somewhere where I'm not in anybody's way. So I was standing in front of the judges' stand, so there was I wasn't in anybody's way, but I was up against the wall, and I'm watching officials yell at drivers and point at their watches, and I was talking with Christy, and I said, Brett Riley used to tell me, don't even pay attention to those officials. He goes, look right through them. Don't pay any attention. He said, you do what you got to do. He said, this is a job. Get your job done, get your paycheck, and go home. So it was just funny because officials are just trying to do their job, and drivers are trying to do their job, and it's all part of the game, man. We all have a part to play, and everybody plays it.
Yes, sir.
What was going through your mind? Go time never really came to pass in the traditional wide open go time sense. It came down to you and Tom, and Tim came out there and made you guys go nose out. What was going through your mind in that sequence, and was there ever a point in the course of that last 4 or 5 cars where you thought, wow, this check might be coming home with me?
I mean, when I went there, I just wanted to get in the feature. Sure. I mean, it's just a big milestone in getting a feature at Bass for Cash.
Yep.
And after I got in the feature, I'm like, if I can set a top 10 spot, I'm going to be ecstatic with myself. I mean, I've done everything I can to get this car right. If I can get top 10, it's like winning to me.
Absolutely.
But then I got down into it a little bit, and we got down there in the top 5, and I mean, I had Gask in there. Mm-hmm. I had Case. I had Tom. And I'm like, this ain't going to be too bad. I'm like, if we can work the last guy over, we're going to be okay. And he was strong. He was running strong, never got in his head. He was calm, cool the whole time.
Yep.
Never let you dig on a wheel too hard. He'd never spin when you're in his wheels. And we got him out, and Gaskin lost hose early.
Real early.
And I seen him, I mean, it was 45 minutes from the end when he lost his hose. And I seen him popping up blue smoke and blue flame and everything. And I'm like, shit. Yep. But then after a while, I mean, Gaskin got out, and then I don't remember his name. He got third. And then it came down to me and Tom, and I'm like, 2016, we went down there in wire cars just trying to compete. And me and Tom took 1, 2, and Tom kicked my ass. Like, hard. Pushed me in the wall, kicked my ass to no extent. But I'd rather have it be him than anybody in this world. Mm-hmm. Or one of my buddies.
Yep.
And, I mean, it's just, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if it's hit me yet that I've won it, but it's really, really cool.
Is the car off the trailer yet?
Oh, yeah, she's off the trailer inside the shop. I don't want it getting wet.
I'd have that thing parked in my front yard with a sign.
Yeah, where our shop, we got like probably a quarter-mile driveway back into our shop. There ain't no one that can see anything we got up there.
Oh, gotcha. I'd bring it home to my house, park in the front yard of the house. That's awesome, though.
Well, it's I forgot that you guys went 1-2 in that wire class. I remember Tom winning the kickers there class. When he got that win over
Jason Koch.
Got the win over Jason Koch. I forgot about that wire win. You guys have pulled some success out over there, and this
that was
this build a little bit detuned from the kickers, but it's a little bit of an upgrade from the wire where you were.
Oh, for sure. I mean, them kicker cars are silly. I mean, you can just throw weld at them until you're blue in the face. It don't matter. But I thought it was pretty cool for us to take 1-2 down there the first year in wire, and for Tom to come out on top the year after in kicker. I mean, he's the man. It's just the way it is. He's Tom Henderson. Everyone knows Tom Henderson.
Right.
Yep.
But, Maybe now everybody's going to know David King.
I hope not.
It's better to be known for something good, though.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss me with a helmet I wear. But.
Right? We talked about that, too.
There's a lot of open-face helmets out there this year.
I get a kick out of that red, white, and blue with the yellow visor on it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What else do you have planned for this year?
Oh, I mean, we got Mayhem planned, but I've heard really big things about King's Old School, so I think we might be skipping Mayhem and going to King's Old School instead. And trying to see what we can do down there. But we got Dead Man. I mean, I run probably 20 cars a year with my compact and stuff. And, I mean, I'm a compact guy. I like big cars and everything, but I can build a compact in a couple days and go smash it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If I'm not smashing 20 cars a year, I'm not happy.
What's the compact of choice now?
I don't know. They're pretty easy around here. Like the rusty, everything's rusty, so I'll pretty much go to Camrys because I'm not going to go down south to buy Camrys, but I love my Luminas. You give me a 4-door Grand Prix, I'll take that over any car out there for a compact. But obviously the big cars, I like my 9802s. It took me a while to get into them, but my brother Evan, he pretty much pushed me that way, and now I got 4 more sitting up at the shop of them.
That's awesome.
That's the engine that Matt Gaskin had in his car. That thing ran a long time in the water, and I'd forgotten. It had been so long from that exchange. Steve had pointed that out, and I'd forgotten and noticed that it was having ignition trouble. It didn't seem to want to start. He had to hit it once or twice to get it to go, and he had certainly built up quite a bit of heat in that thing. That was a very reliable guard power plant in that.
Yeah, it was really early. I would like to watch and put a clock on and see how long. I think it went an hour without water. I legit think it because that was a 2-hour feature. So I think it went an hour with no water. And I mean, a couple times at the end, it stalled, and you could see it puffing out black smoke. Like the first time it stalled late in the feature, it took a minute to puff out black smoke. But then every time it stalled after that, it started right back up until the very last time. And I would almost like to know I think maybe he ran out of fuel, because the last time he tried to start it, when it stalled the last time, it wasn't putting any smoke out at all. Yeah. So I think it would be interesting. But Matt drove a hell of a Derby too. He did a really good job. He was right there at the end. So it was good to see.
Hell of a driver.
Your engine came out of your shop.
Yes, sir. Tom Henderson built.
Is he building engines for other people also, or just for close friends? Because somebody, I think it was Christy, asked me, she'd heard that Tom had been building some motors, and I didn't know if it was just for, you guys that run together, or if he was actually selling Derby engines.
He's not selling them, but I mean, enough people keep hearing about it. He's probably going to have to start building them, which I don't know if he's going to want to. Enough people already heard about his transmissions, and he's starting to get backed up with that. But for us to go out there, we literally built his motor. He built a Fresh 383. I built Fresh 355 this year. He built both of them in his shop. For it to come down to first and second with them motors, we were at 220 degrees when we stopped at the end. And they never spit an ounce of water. Chinese never skipped a beat, nothing.
No, because
you can't ask for me now.
After you ran, you left yours running for a few minutes to cool off, right? And then I heard you shut it off.
Well, I had to ask my motor builder if I could shut it off. I didn't want to mess anything up inside of it.
I can attest. I stood there listening, and that motor, it sounded like it just been started up in a parking lot. There was no heat pings. There was no nothing. It just sat there and purred. It was very impressive.
Circle track trick.
Yeah, it was.
Let it run a while.
Yeah, it was a very good running motor. That's for sure.
Oh, I've never had a better. Well, last year, I want to step up. I'm not trying to sound like a cocky prick or whatever, but I want to step up in the big cars more, because compacts just aren't doing it for me anymore. I mean, I'll still run them, but I want to be more competitive in the big cars. So I told Tom, and he always told me, when I'm ready to do it, we'll do it. Said, I want to build a big car motor. And he goes, you got enough money saved up? And I said, yes. He went through, we did everything you want to a Derby motor, we've done it to it.
Sweet.
And he did his first, I did mine second, and I never looked back. I told him, I said I wanted to run like a Camry. That I don't want to worry about it quitting. I just want to go out there and be able to run my race just like I do in my little cars. He said, I can do that for you. He built me the best motor I think anyone could build. I started that motor 3 times the whole time.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely a good running car.
Well, that's some reliable stuff, and good to hear that you got some stuff lined up for this year. I'm hoping that we can have some more conversations like this with some more success coming your way. Congratulations, of course, with the win. We talked a lot about the engine and transmission coming out of the shop there at home. Is there anybody else that you want to make mention of?
Oh, boy. I mean, maybe more start, but I'll try. I mean, obviously, I want to start with my girlfriend. Without her, backing me up, helping me strip cars and all that. You can't do it. I mean, Justin Harvey, Matt Ryan, obviously Tom Henderson, my brother Evan King, Floppy Gonzalez, Julie Studley. I mean, it just goes on and on with everybody. But, I mean, with my family and the shop and everything and everyone supporting me, it just don't get any better for me.
Well,
I also want to do a little bit of a thank you to Jason Koch because he helped. I had problems with my carburetor and the heat. He rebuilt my carburetor for me.
Wow.
And just told me, when you're done, come see me and we'll settle up or whatever. And, I mean, just a great guy in general. I mean, and last thing, I just want to give a shout-out to Thunder. That's about it.
Fantastic, man. Well, Dave, again, congratulations. Appreciate you making some time for us and coming on. Stay in touch as we work through the rest of 2021, and we look forward to hearing from you soon, man. Congratulations again.
All right, thank you very much.
See you now.
Nice job, bud.
All right, talk to you guys later.
See you now. There it goes. There goes David King. That carb rebuild would have been no problem if you finished 32nd. But now that carb rebuild, doing the math, this much per hour, it's about 10 grand.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I heard a couple people say that Jason worked on their carburetors for him this weekend.
Okay, so I think I can top that.
Okay.
Somebody blew up their engine, hurt the engine, not so much blown up, but hurt it to the point where it was really questionable. Mm-hmm. And Jason had already run. He ran trucks.
Yeah.
He didn't need that engine anymore and offered to take the engine out of the truck and put it into the other guy's car. On the same, we'll settle up later promise. How about that?
Jason's a great dude. And we've talked to Jason a bunch. Jason's a really good guy.
That?
He is one of his motors won one of the 80s wire classes, and he was as happy for that dude that had won as if he would have won it himself. It was really cool to see. So that was the 80s wire class where the guy that finished second had broken the fan and front pulley off the front of the motor, and it was laying on the track. That was part of that aggressive hitting we were talking about.
Those were pretty good.
Yeah, they were.
We talked about the. Hey, it's Chris. Can I put you in? All right, perfect. All right. Jonathan Pinkerton ended up coming up with a win in the kicker class. That was the last event of the night. That was another near 2-hour feature. Mm-hmm. He won that. The other co-main event on the weekend was the Turn Back the Clock feature. Mike Tosco on the line with us now to talk a little bit about that. And Mike, no stranger to Victory Lane at Basher Cash. I believe I heard it was back in 2015 that you also previously had won the kicker feature, right?
2010.
2010. So I got to go back.
Yeah, back when it was still in Bell Fountain.
Right, wow. Right. I remember that you said it was in Bell Fountain. Now that you say that, so how's it compare? I mean, 11 years removed from winning the kicker class, you took the win in the Turn Back the Clock class, and it was certainly no easy path to get there.
No, it sure wasn't. But going from a kicker car to a Turn Back the Clock car was a lot different, a lot softer. And I didn't feel it the next day.
That's always the best point.
Kicker car, you're out there to hit with them, and that's what I like to do. But when you go to a different car like we just ran, Yeah, you can't hit as hard as what you think.
You know, I thought that you guys had a really good pace. I thought that was a very entertaining feature. I thought it was hard hitting from beginning to the end. I mean, obviously not to the extent of the kicker cars, but I mean, how did it feel to you? Did it feel like it was a pretty fast-paced feature?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was a pretty good pace derby.
53 minutes that took. I timed it.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
I was told an hour, a little over an hour. But you know, when you're out there in a car, you don't know how long it's going to take.
No. But it was.
But yeah, it seemed like we were shifting gears more than anything.
there was some good hitting in that feature for sure. There was a lot of junk made.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of top-notch drivers out there, man.
That is for sure.
And I give them all credit. They all did awesome.
Yep.
You know, you had your groups out there and all that. You know, like the Eatons,
Yep.
Ben Wells,
Yep.
all them guys. And there was a few out there I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Is it easier to hit them before you hit the guys that you do know?
Yes. I had a group of 6.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of a unique turn back the clock situation that we've got here because the border was closed, because numbers had fluctuated and changed because of the difference. And, you know, I hate to just.
Yeah, the one heat shot, I really liked that.
Yeah, you don't have to bring tires. You don't have to bring anything to fix the car as long as you can.
Oh, we brought all of it.
Yeah, you brought it anyway?
Yeah, we brought it anyway.
Well, I mean, you have to have enough stuff to fix after inspection, because let's be honest, ain't no one getting a stick the first time through. So you got to break some stuff to get the car ready to run.
Lucky I had a buddy there with a welder. He helped us out quite a bit. We had to cut some things and re-weld.
Nice. Now, what was your car?
76 Chevy 2-door. Pilot.
Yep. Okay. With a pretty nasty. It was leafed, right?
Oh yeah, had 7 leaves under it. Had a 10-bolt Chevy Moser 35 spline under it.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
There were some really nice
Had
cars.
short springs too.
Yeah, they were. I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very well put together car.
Yeah, well, I had it built for last year. Then COVID had to cancel it.
Yep.
So we finished a week before the Derby.
Just in time.
Yeah, we finished. Well, actually, me and my wife finished it up Friday night at 10 o'clock to head down there Saturday morning.
Perfect.
Wow.
And, I had about 6 buddies through the week helping me, busting their ass, getting it done.
Yep.
And I got to give them a hell of a lot of credit for that.
When you look at the way that feature played out, you said that you still brought the tires and everything. Is that because of the weather forecast and trying to be prepared with different tire combinations and tread patterns in the event that the track was...
Actually, I brought the same rears.
Mm-hmm.
I run Bobcats. It don't matter what the track looks like. But I did bring different steer tires for a wet track or a, dry, whatever, to a smooth tread to a coarser tread.
Somebody mentioned that, and I don't know exactly what track they were looking at, but somebody said that the feature for the Compact Sunday, the track was wet, so they thought the front-wheel drives would have an advantage.
Right.
That track was not wet Sunday. It was dry and fast.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see it Sunday.
Yeah, it was. Well, your Saturday night there was some bite in it, but with the.
Oh yeah, it was rough too out there.
Yeah, Tim was talking about that. He said he wished he had a roller there to smooth it out. He didn't. Like
actually needed a dozer.
Yeah, that would have helped too.
That was one of the roughest tracks I've ever been on for a while.
But Saturday or Sunday, Tim was going to have them water the track because they watered it in the morning, and then the sun came out and it got warm. Well, I can't remember. One of his guys went to get the wagon, the water, and it's got a pump, a gas powered pump.
Right.
Whoop, first
good.
string out and didn't run. And Tim said, "Well, I guess we're not going to water the track." So, yeah, it was a fast-paced track Saturday.
Hey,
Sunday.
man, that's kind of what we like.
Yeah, it was fast-paced.
Yes.
It worked out all right. Mike coming up with a win in the Turn Back the Clock class at Bash for Cash. Pork Chop, Christopher Kyle Polly online here saying it was good to be back on the track. We were talking about those watching eyes of Casey Smith. Lee Sager was right away with the big moon eyes in chat. And then I don't know what they were. There were some sort of devil emojis that Marty sent. But those guys were out there. They had a great time. I talked with Alex a little bit and just did a spot check on Lee there. We happened to be going two different directions through the course of the day. I don't remember what day it was, what morning, but Lee made the feature and did well in the feature for his first time. So I was really, really proud of him and made a late decision to even go. And that was one
I was
of the
surprised
classes,
to see him. I really was.
Yeah,
I know how busy he is with his stuff.
And that was one of the classes that had to do heats before the feature. And he got in through the heat, and it was smoking pretty good. And I wasn't sure if the motor was going to be there for him in the feature, but he got down there a little ways, and it was awesome that the front wheel drive won. I was real happy to see that.
Yeah, he had to abuse the car a little bit in the heat to get qualified, and I was surprised how nice of a job they did putting it back together. They really did. It looked good for the feature.
Looked very good. I don't know if you caught this, but Tyler Dodd, he won the compacts and turned around and was in the pro stocks right after.
Really?
He ran the number 34.
Yep.
The guy jumped out in the coveralls and did his trackside interview and was right back out there for the next one. So he had probably close to, I bet he had well over 3 hours in the car.
Wow. I'm glad for the drivers that it wasn't real hot, because that's no fun. I remember, I think it was the last time they ran in Washington Courthouse. It came down to Daryl Monroe and Canada.
Ray Clark?
Nope, him and his brother build parts and cars, and Ingram. It came down to those two, and those two battled for like 45 minutes, and it was one of those normal 90-some degree days for Bash, and they both got out of the cars, and I think they shook hands and both sat on the ground and were just pouring water, chugging water. It wasn't as bad on the drivers this time.
Christy just said in the interview, he said, "Who wants to run my big car?" Yeah.
I didn't hear it. I'd have volunteered.
Right. Mike, was there a point in that feature where you knew for sure it was going to be yours? Because from the outside looking in,
when it got down to the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew Bubba Eaton was lost steering, and Dustin Kidd, he was getting hot, starting to burn the training up. And I was like, well, I just got to get Bubba Eaton over in the corner, get him so he can't get back around. And then it was down to me and Dustin, and I was like, well, it's time to turn it up.
Well, Dustin, the officials probably, that was one of the best calls, and I don't think anybody liked that.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad he got out safe, too.
That was scary.
They saw something that we couldn't from our vantage point.
Yeah, and they got him out quick.
And
yeah, he broke a training line.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Racing right at him.
Yeah, because they dragged him out, and then I saw him standing on the side, and I think they were pouring water or something on his legs. But yeah, they were lucky with that.
Training fluid.
Yep.
Well, that stuff came out of there, and it's.
And I know Dustin pretty well. I bought parts from him. He's a hell of a good guy. He'd do anything for anybody.
That's cool.
Price.
And he just lives north of me.
Nice.
So.
Your price might have gone up.
Yeah, it could have.
Just in case anybody did miss it, there was some speculation on what exactly had happened, whether it was a cooler failure or, sometimes you see that brown smoke as the clutches start to burn up and then the transmission explodes, like we saw with Todd Siopa. We referenced that in Brookville that one time several years ago. And they stopped it and got him out, and while he was out, everything inside the car combusted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't sure if it was a fuel line and the vapor had combusted, or if it was a tranny line or something to do with the cooler itself, like a broken line. But the way they got him out, because of that's some pretty hot fluid spraying all over the place, and they got him out to save him from that, and it probably saved him from being severely burned.
Well, it's in the
process. And that's one dangerous thing in the car right now. It's the fuel.
I agree with you.
In the pro stock we saw, a guy wasn't as lucky. It blew the clutches out, and there was a flash fire, and they got him out quickly, which is great. But yeah, that's some officials that are watching. I mean, they'll be looking in a moving derby car and see stuff spraying. That's some officials doing a really good job right there. I mean, there's an awful lot of stuff going on a track, and to see that and help a driver, that's pretty impressive.
Needless to say, he didn't get back into it after that, and the feature was called, and Mike comes away with another high-profile win at the Bash for Cash with Smash Demolition Derby. What's the rest of your year look like?
We'll probably hit a few county fairs, and I'm thinking about the King of Ohio.
Awesome.
For Dustin Woods.
There's been some discussions about the King of Ohio.
That's on my list.
Well, that would be awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck out there. And I know you gave credit to everybody, and at risk of forgetting anyone, is there anyone else that you'd like to make mention of?
I pretty much mentioned everybody. They know who they are.
Cool.
Well, Mike, man, I appreciate you making some time and coming on the show with us tonight. Congratulations again on the win, and hopefully we're talking again after King of Ohio.
I appreciate it, fellas. You guys have a great one. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you
Have a
later,
good night.
Yep.
Awesome. There goes Mike Tosco coming away with his second win at Bash for Cash and the headline events. Pretty cool. Big thanks out to Derby Tees, Mark Klein, Steve Bucknam, and all those guys that were there as helping with the production and everything. Derby Nation, we got a chance to sit in there with Steve and do the play-by-play. There was some absolutely awesome, very memorable runs that we saw out there, and appreciate all the fan interaction and a lot of the comments saying it was good to see you back, which was very nice. It was very nice.
Butch Cisco had a good weekend.
Butch Cisco had a great weekend, except for the part where he almost ran over the visual.
I didn't remember. I don't know when that happened. I missed that.
It was a red flag, and
He was like fourth in the '80s wire class.
He did well in the wire class, and he did well in the relics class too.
Devin Germain picked up another Mad Dog in the relics.
It's 3 in a row for him.
3 in a row. That's not bad.
Yep.
It was, like I said, it was a fun weekend.
Whoops. I'm trying to keep up with everything that's going on in the chat.
I was going to say, how's live chat going?
I started dialing in the time, not the phone number.
If I had a way, I could check on chat for you, but I can't look on my phone because it'll play the show, and then we'll hear it over and over and over. So
if you turn the volume down, it should be okay.
I've tried that; it doesn't work.
No. Did you try muting the video?
No, I'm not smart enough. You'd have to teach me.
Well, Patrick doesn't seem to be answering at the moment. Hey, there he is. You're watching what?
B-Flow class, man.
Oh.
Videos. What's up?
What's up? We were just talking about Mad Dogs and thought maybe you'd like to weigh in.
Yeah, they're fun.
The understatement there with Patrick Dallas as we were talking about the compacts is Patrick, as far as historical records and bruised memories can come up with. James lost a wheel on the way home too. The Cisco's they broke down getting out there. The last one coming home.
Crazy.
It was a rough ride down.
Patrick is being modest about this. Came away with, as far as we can tell, the first time somebody's won a Mad Dog in both the heat and the feature on the compact side of things, and brought home a couple ugly bulldogs, man. And that was your goal, Patrick. You said you wanted to do it.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't realize that Mark Elliott does a points thing kind of for us too. So now I got a new goal this year. I'm going to see if I can get more than anybody else.
There you go. That wouldn't be too
I
bad.
couldn't let Devin Germain have 3 Mad Dogs and be one up on me again for another whole year.
So he's got a couple Mad Dogs out of. He's been pulled early from qualifying heats before, in the compacts. He's got the 3 there in the relic class in terms of the features. So what are the 3 that you're counting? Are you counting the heat and the feature, or are we behind and you've got 3 feature Mad Dogs as well?
No, Devin has 2 heat ones, I believe, and then there's relic ones, so that makes 3.
Okay.
And then I have 2 heat ones and a feature one, so that makes me have 3. They're all the same.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Gotcha.
They give us the same trophy.
So
So I figure they're probably close to 20 pounds apiece, so I got 60 pounds of Mad Dog so far.
Well, you had some work to do. You, real quick, just want to make mention of Brandon Flynn. His first trip out there, and he was about ready to say, I got to the feature. Enough's enough. The car's bent. And Patrick said, no. This is Bash or Cash. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. You got to get this thing together and get back out there. And after you got your car back together and went on your way, he was able to get back out, which was good to see. But take me through your run. That was chaotic, to say the least.
Well, the heat was really frustrating because the track was, I wouldn't say trash, but you just couldn't get around. And then you know how the rear-wheel drive guys are. They want to hold you. They don't want to let you get away.
Sure.
So I struggled. I was actually really surprised that Tim gave me one. And out of the whole night, I was actually the only person to get one, which is even more surprising. But when I looked at the track Sunday morning when I woke up, and I said, this is going to be a good day because it was dry.
Right.
And I was hoping that they didn't wet it or anything because I was just ready to jump that thing. I wanted to have fun and put on a show. That was a goal. That's always a goal, though. I think people forget that. We're there for the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you're out there in a feature that was paying $10,000 to win, and your concern was bringing home a 20-pound piece of pewter, which...
Yep. Money. You make money every day.
Right.
Absolutely.
It was nice to see Tyler get it, though. Front-wheel drive guy, too, at that.
Right. And that's the first time that a front-wheel drive has won since it was at Washington Courthouse, I think. It's been several years.
When I made the first track shot and got turned around, I knew it was going to be a good run because the car was just I can't explain it. It just ran phenomenal.
We had a
I owe that
co-pilot,
to Brandon
right?
too. They figured out the wiring on it. Apparently, the last out of the 3 years I've owned the carb setup, I was running it wrong for the first 2. I didn't know it wasn't wired up right.
Wow.
Well, that's a sign of
Now
good things.
we've learned how to play with the advancement too, so now I got it advancing way faster. So it's really insane. Now I can't wait to get it on alcohol. Even old Koch he was pretty impressed.
Yeah, good. That's another piece that was tuned a little bit by Jason Koch. So that's
it's almost surreal. Like every time I open my Facebook, I got 100 notifications.
You're famous.
Yeah, it's scary.
Well, now that you got the thing running right, and you've got the ability to dial it in a little bit better, that's a sign of better things to come.
Yeah, they beat on the front end of that thing pretty good, and the tires and it all held up pretty good. So we actually built mine and Brandon's kind of completely different to try each way to see which was going to work better. And I think next year you'll see 2 of them down there built like mine at least, and running the same way. The guys better worry, I guess.
You get people
I
that
told
talk about
Devin, I was like, imagine if you could get like 5 of us out there running like that. I was like, we could clean up the whole field.
Yeah, they definitely don't like. They weren't fond of you. They were trying to keep you out there pretty good.
Well, I will give it. I can't remember which Rutherford it was, but he was pretty much the only smart one out there that stuck right with me. Because every time I turned around, he was there. Like he was glued to me. He knew. It was the old man one, actually.
We got some questions for you coming in. I was told to ask about your steering wheel.
Well, I finally got around the derby rag guy down there at the end, and I got to run, and then they waved that red flag, and then I got hit there late, and all of a sudden I realized that my steering was broke again. Well, not only was it broke, the steering shaft inside was broke, so I could pull the whole steering wheel out. So, well, this is going to be interesting. So after the red flag, I finally got the car moving, and I was like, well, let's see what the car's going to do. It actually hooked to the right to do a U-turn, and I figured maybe I could go back down the track and make a hit. So as I was going by 10, I threw the wheel and the shaft out the window.
I don't know if you noticed.
That's what he told me.
That's when he broke the stick off. I don't know if you noticed or not, but when the feature was over, the steering shaft was down inside the stack on the front. The steering wheel was poking out.
Yeah, I stuck it in there. I actually have it hanging in the garage now. I figure that's one of the best trophies out of the weekend.
That's awesome.
So we've got some more information coming in here, asking about the steering wheel. Corey Thompson was disappointed with the pace of the Pro Stock feature. 2 hours is long. Surprised the officials didn't step in. Almost turns into whoever has the most fuel. It's We've talked about
I actually
that.
told Tim after my run that if they needed a mercenary out there, I'm ready. Just let me build it my way.
Christy Germain, Mad Dogs are Mad Dogs at Bash. There's no easy feat. Devin Germain acknowledged being tied, and it now puts them in a class with Matt Gaskin Jr. because he's got
Senior.
I think you'll see this. This will be an every year battle now for a while now. We'll probably, have a friendly wager back and forth. It's fun.
I don't know, after the fun Devin had in a relic, maybe he'll be coming back with another
I
relic
know.
next year.
I lost my voice almost from screaming for him and Brandon and my little brother and everybody. And with Robbie, Adrian, and Jacob, they all did really awesome too.
They did. Yep, we're going to catch
All in all, us New York guys did pretty good down there this weekend.
Yeah, I was just going to say, New York had a pretty nice haul out of there between Mad Dogs and Big Money, and New York represented themselves pretty damn good at Bash for Cash.
Well, then, Meltdown's next. I got to get the starter in the car. I haven't even bought one for it yet. Well, I have one, but it's not clean enough.
All right. So where did you say was next?
Meltdown.
Spinning Wheels Meltdown
No,
show.
Meltdown.
Yep.
Yep, Spinning Wheels, Gully Show.
Perfect. Well,
They're always fun, too. That's a little harder to get a Mad Dog there because I'm with everybody else from New York who was all crazy like me. Maybe not quite as crazy, but pretty close.
Yeah, they get after it pretty good down there.
I see a guy put a post on Facebook the other day asking what state thought they had the heaviest hitters. I don't know. I think no doubt about it, it's New York now.
I'd put New York up against anybody. I really would.
for sure. We're going to be catching up with Groth here in just a few minutes. Patrick's got more classes he's got to get to that are commencing here in just a few minutes. Is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of?
Yeah, I got to thank my sponsors, Bush's Auto, CBR Customs, Brown Specialty Welding, CNS Spray Foam and Gutters, Ross Auto, obviously, my fiance Nicole, because none of this would be possible without her, my parents, brother, Brandon and his family. The list goes on and on. I could sit here for an hour and thank people.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you not.
You can't do this sport without support, especially from your family.
For sure. I'm glad everything went well and it was mission accomplished and hopefully we get to do this again next year in terms of the Mad Dog Chase and wish you the best of luck here the rest of the summer as it goes on. I'm sure you'll be busy with the Spinning Wheels dates.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's coming. All right, man. Thank you.
You bet. We'll catch you soon.
Bye.
Goes Patrick Dulles. Trying to keep up with everything here. I got messages coming in all over the place. All right, trying to keep up. So let's. We got a couple different things that we got to do.
Probably got to pay some bills.
We got to do that too. Robert Groth here is coming up, so don't go away. Dylan won the youth class. Oh my gosh, how am I blanking on this?
Myers.
42. Yes, Dylan Myers won the youth class out there. We're going to give you a full rundown on all the results. Everything hasn't been compiled yet and sent along, and the notes that I took, I never took pictures of, and I left them in Ohio. So we got through a big chunk of it today, and like I said, we're going to be running through a couple of them. Next week we'll have a little bit more. Devin Germain says full size are fun, loves the power. He just needs a little bit more. I don't know where he's going to put it. He found chunks of the Imperial trim wedged in the body panels of the DeSoto.
That makes sense. They were hitting fairly hard.
Tom Dillman drilled him in that corner and peeled the body off and made everything go really weird in the back. Two things happened. One, Devin was thankful for a gas tank protector, and Tom left trim that was 3/4 of an inch thick wedged in the body in different places, which was
Kind of cool.
both very cool. Yeah. And Tom improving from that big fire that he had last time. We were at Bash for Cash to win the relic class. That was another awesome one. Ron McClung, he's agreeing. Awesome show at Bash for Cash this year. Jeff Schumann checking in. He ended up putting on over 1,100 miles this weekend between Bash for Cash and the race.
It was nice. We got to go over and hang out with Jeffy and got to see the underside and the back end of the funny car and learned a lot of stuff.
Car.
Yeah.
There's so much. I mean, I've said this before, and I maintain it. Sometimes I ask silly questions just to see what I can learn when I talk to Jeffy.
Yeah.
And you do every time.
It's always good to talk to Jeffy and his crew.
It was awesome. I had a great time. Utah has hard hitting. Yes, that is for sure. Over the weekend, we had May Mania. That was at the Golden Spike Arena. Congratulations to Parker Lazenby and Leighton Shepard winning May Mania, the two-man team show. Cody Mittletter coming away with the Mad Dog. We remember Cody from some of our trips up north, so that was good to see those guys were out there. While we're on it, let's do this quick. Hawkeye Havoc. That was one of the Domination Motorsport shows. That was this weekend. Youth Division. You should recognize this last name, Blake Puttawitter, coming away with the win. On the youth side of things, Dawson Mack winning the minivans, the two-man class. Ethan Beamer and Jared Cheney taking win there. Front-wheel drive hobo class. Adam Reese and Dylan Crowley won street stock weld, so that was cool. That was the first event on Candace and Domination's Summer Series, and the next show is going to take a little bit of time to get there. It's going to be at the Manoa County Fairgrounds. It's a 2-day team show. It's going to be July 16th and 17th. The lists are fairly stacked at this point. And again, we said this weekend, Road Rage Entertainment, the team show, June 5th in Norwich, New York. Gates open at 9 o'clock. Tech closes at 1 o'clock. Sharp show starts at 2. Admission to watch the show is $15 a person. 3 and under are free. Power Wheels Derby is free to enter. Pit passes are $10 a person. You can find more information about that on Road Rage Entertainment's page. Smash It is going to turn around and do this again here. They had so much fun. Why not do it again, I suppose? This is some details on that. Scott Brown said he had a scare while flagging, almost as close as our experience in Utah. I think that was when we got hit by the car. Street Talk Madness is going to be at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio, June the 5th. Gates are opening at noon. Derby's at 6, June 6th. Gates are at noon. Derby's at 3. 4-man teams, it's 20 teams, 6,000, 3,000, 1,600 back through for the 4-man teams. And the pro stock, that's 40 entries, 4,000, 2,000, 1,000 for them. Full-size street stock, compact street stock, minivan, mini SUV, and mini truck, 30 entries per class, 1,000 to win in that one. Steven Sickles ended up coming up with a second-place finish over the weekend, and with that jumped up into the lead in the point standings for the Unified Point Series and loaded up his car and saved it for this coming weekend. Yep. Because it's a chance to gain points. No matter what Don Santel did in his 2 classes, if he finished third, it still would have put him ahead in points, so he figured just save the car, save the work. Mm-hmm. Justin Buchanan picked up a win over the weekend at Bash for Cash. I forgot about that. That was a good win for him. That was in the, I think that was in the street stock, right?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Somebody listening is going to correct me on that one. Unified Point Series, it was Bash for Cash this weekend, and now they move on to the Smash It Demolition Derby Street Stock Madness. After that, Hardcore's Destruction on the Knob in Markleysburg, June 25th and July 3rd as part of a 2-day program at the Bartholomew County Fair, overseen by Toast. Got to hang out with Toast for a little bit this weekend, which was cool. Ralph's Promotions is in charge of the Wayne County Fair in Portland, Indiana, July 10th and 17th as the Buchanan Edwards promoted Riverside Riots in Proctorville. July 26th and 30th is Ruts Fabrications, Butler County Fair in Hamilton. Ruts Fab, Rutherford, Jordan Rutherford coming away with a second place finish in the compact show.
His brother was 4th or 5th, maybe?
I think that was his dad.
Was it his dad?
I think that was John that was in that car.
Oh, I assumed. I didn't see who got out afterwards. My bad.
July 31st and August 7th, we're back with Smash at the Pueblo County Fair in Eaton, and then Hardcore's Destruction in Dunbar was August the 6th, and that's going to set us up for a very busy August part of the season with the Unified Point Series. You can stay up to date online with the full schedule and all the point standings on 527unifiedseries.com. The Hardcore Series tour, we got to talk with those guys a little bit over the weekend. Destruction on the Knob, like we said. Mayhem on the Mountain is the next event. That's going to be this month. They got 2 shows. That's in Farmington, Pennsylvania. July the 10th is Destruction on the Knob in Markleysburg. King of the Hill at Jacktown Fair is the 24th of July. July 29th, August 3rd, and August 6th is the 3-day program with Destruction in Dunbar, Pennsylvania. Chaos and Coal Country at the Greene County Fair in Waynesburg is August 13th. The 14th and 20th is Washington War Zone, Washington, Pennsylvania. The 4th and 5th is the Labor Day show, Labor Day Lockdown in Stoneboro, and then September 7th and 8th is the Route 40 Rumble in West Alexander. The 2021 Hardcore Championships will end the season September 25th and 26th. That's the 10,000 to win final confrontation in Dunbar. It's a 3,000 to win Jeffy's Fab Farm Mad Dog. You can stay up to date online, hardcorederbypromotions.com. Had a chance to talk with Frankie Guy for a little while over at Youth Tech Inspection. And like you said, we talked with Jeffy's Fab Farm. Recognized as an industry leader in all manner of purpose-built demolition derby parts. You might have to wait, though, because he sold pretty much everything.
Yeah.
In the trailer over the weekend.
Had a good weekend.
Starting with rear ends in 2006, Jeff Hughes Fab Farm expanded to headers in 2008, and the shop can boast a combined 70-plus years of mechanical skill. Jeff Hughes Fab Farm specializes in all its conversions and conversion components. With consistent feature wins across North America, your turnkey solution is only a phone call away. Jeff Hughes Camry in a Box campaign sets you up for success with a retail price of $525. You need to ask about the multi-fit shifter options. You can also find fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedal switches and gauges. If you need it, you can find it on Jeff Hughes Fab Farm, jeffhughesfabfarm.com. Jump on the virtual store and order now. Smith Metalworks, Casey Smith, we had a chance to catch up with him for a little bit as well. All-purpose fab shop that has taken the Northeast by storm. Smith Metalworks features more than 40 years of fine metalworking experience. They're also hosting Demolition Derby Summer Camp, which is so cool for the youth drivers that we saw out there. We made mention of Dylan coming away with a win in that one. The hallmark of the product line is the pointed and flat front bumpers, replicating popular factory releases that can be stuffed to run hollow. There's also a compact version of the pointed bumper. Other items include crown door skins, battery boxes, engine mounting systems, pedal combos, and shifters. The shop offers all the odds and ends, such as distributor clamps and welded centers. Be sure to ask about their GM floor liners. In-person pickup locations are in Mercer, Uniontown, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. SmithMetalworks.info for online ordering, experience, and passion. Second to none. Checking up on your social branding.
I was just checking to see if there's anything interesting going on I could help you with.
I gotta call Groth here. My phone is not real happy about trying to hold a charge because I used it a bit too much this weekend, it seems. But yeah, we're gonna catch up with Robert Groth. How cool was that run in the Frank the Tank 70s wire class? Those guys threw caution to the wind and did not care about who won or what the payout was. They wanted to waste some Lincolns.
No, I'm telling you, when him and Adrian hit at the end, head to head, I thought they were both going to be down for the standing 8 count because both of them bounced around like rag dolls inside those cars. And Adrian's car was completely airborne, and I could see the yoke break at the front, at the where the snout goes into the transmission. It exploded. It was wild.
Trying to get a hold of Robert. Sounds like the phone just kicked over to a different line there. Hey, let me put you in here. All right. So, you were talking a little bit about that. July 26th, we may have found a mistake. Let me double check this real quick, because
All right.
July 26th. Andrew, I'm going to check that. We'll confirm that. You're out. You live out there, so you'll probably know better than I do in terms of. Tommy Gorman had his kid out there in the youth class. I didn't realize that. There was only 600 cars to keep track of.
Yeah.
One or two is going to slip through the cracks.
One or two here and there.
James Dickup. I thought James Dickup was going to win that Frank the Tank class, and I don't know what happened along the wall, but for the second year in a row, for the second running in a row, going back to 2019, Adrian Gilbert comes away with third place, and Robert Groth, who had a great run in the trucks alongside Jeff Hirsch in the mod mini trucks. That whole on-again, off-again relationship with modified mini trucks was really confusing on Friday, but nonetheless, he got a couple runs in and capped it off with a win. When I saw Adrian on Sunday morning, it looked like he had smuggled a cantaloupe out of the local grocery store. His elbow was so tight inside his sweatshirt. I don't know what he hit it off of, but I assume that it was Robert Groth's fault.
Oh yeah, 100%. He blames me.
Talk me through it, man. That was billed as going to be the headline of the weekend and the best one to watch, and once again it was.
And it couldn't have ended any better with us three guys battling out. I mean, I would have liked it to end either way. I would have took the third place finish with a smile. It was just no better way to finish off the day, I guess you could say, for us running that heat together.
From the outside looking in, nobody would know that all those cars were essentially built together.
No, because they were hitting each other at 40.
Right. That's the thing that I like. There's all that debate and all the contested argument about teaming and stuff like that. They didn't really have assignments besides whatever's on the other end of that bumper gets hit as fast as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody was definitely aiming for the car the farthest away from them when they started their picking out their hits. It was very impressive.
I know you guys are happy with the outcome, and certainly coming over with a win at Bash for Cash is a way to put your name in the history books for all time. But the way you guys were driving it, I was getting a little bit apprehensive that there wouldn't be any cars left to actually collect the checkered flag. Was there any apprehension about trying to save anything or maybe not hitting in third gear?
That's pretty much our driving style for the most part up here in New York. And we went in with kind of wanting to make it to the end, and then we had to do some cutting here and there, and at that moment we just said screw it, and it was game on.
Because everybody has a plan until
You get punched in the face.
that's right.
Uh-huh.
But that's the thing is nobody, like, I assume that everybody goes out there wants to win, but once they say go, everybody's plan kind of changes to, okay, we're holding it wide open, and if we happen to be running at the end, we'll take home the money, because there wasn't anybody that was being very calculating. They were just junking each other.
At the end, Adrian sent me a picture. I actually left Saturday or Sunday morning, and on my way home, Adrian sent me a picture. Apparently, I broke his diver tranny on that final hit.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure he's only ran a handful of times. Broke the bell housing on it.
I tell you what, when you
Well, at least you know who broke it.
when you guys hit that last time right in front of the wall, I thought you were both going to get standing 8 counts, because both cars were airborne, and like I said, I saw the front yoke explode on the front of that on Adrian's dry shaft and drop that, and I thought you guys were both going to be. I knew Adrian was done, but I thought that you would be like dazed and have to sit there for a minute, but you were right going backwards again, and everything was good. So
He got reverse airborne.
yeah, it was. I mean, both cars. Adrian's car was completely off the ground, the whole thing. And then yours definitely was nose. I honestly didn't see the back end from where I was standing. Adrian's was completely, and the nose of yours was up, and I was just like, that is gonna leave a mark, and apparently it did.
Yeah. When we went into it, I knew. I was like, yeah, there's no way in heck I'm backing out of this. And apparently I did, but I didn't think I was when I went into it, I guess.
And then what ended up taking James out? What sealed the deal for you?
James lost steering. I want to say, I think it was the second red flag we had.
Okay.
Had no steering from there on, and I think I just pretty much got him on the wall.
Gotcha.
And I think he got stuck. I think that was the end of that.
Well, I'd like to ask you some obvious question about, like, is this the biggest win of your career? But I think it registers pretty well that is right up there in terms of the junk that was made. But I guess more interestingly, last time in 2019, you brought that Super Duty that was exceptionally shortened, and this year brought a unique combination for the trucks as well. What's more fun to run? I mean, something that's virtually indestructible, or something that you can get? I mean, when we were in the trailer announcing, the cheers from the crowd were so loud that we could hear them over they drowned out the motors. What's more fun?
Well, in 2019, I ran my excursion down there. I made 2 hits, so definitely Frank the Tank was, I would say, would be the way more fun class to run. My buddy Jeff brought the short, stubby truck.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I honestly enjoy running the Frank the Tank more, because Friday night when I ran the excursion, I was sore the next day. Versus the 70s cars that actually have some give.
Yeah, that's the nice thing with those Frank the Tank cars is, I mean, obviously you guys are still going to be somewhat sore, but those cars give a lot. So it was,
yeah,
because they bend in all sorts of funky spots. Let me tell you, when they're hitting that fast.
I love running my truck, but at the end of the day, man, you're hurting that night and the next day.
Well, Adrian has been on these Lincolns for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on these things and figuring them out, and it certainly paid dividends. You guys put on a show, and it was kind of interesting that Fords were dominating it in a class that Russ was so adamant that they had an old iron GM for, in terms of raffle cars, and this was the first Frank the Tank class that was run without Russ on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool to see everybody go nuts, whether it was in their minds or not. It was in mine. Yeah. And it was.
I told Tim Jr. He was sitting next to me, and I said, "I'm telling you what, Russ is looking down right now and smiling because, A, it was the old iron, and B, they were just on the gas. So I have no doubt Russ was smiling ear to ear on that one.
It doesn't appear that there's anything to fix or pull down or run again. Are we going to see something similar next year, though?
Oh, yeah, definitely. These cars are going to get torched apart probably this week or next week. They're never going to see the track again, but we'll have the same idea down there.
That's awesome. Maybe
I was a GM man until I started hanging out with Adrian, and then converted me over to the Fords.
Right.
And they're definitely a hard car if they're done right.
Yeah, they're definitely nasty.
Well, that was awesome, man. I'm glad we could connect and talk a little bit about it. I assume that people can find you at Mini Meltdown, the Spinning Wheel shows coming up in a couple of weeks, or are you going to be at Road Rage ahead of that?
No, we'll be at Mini Meltdown. I don't know what we're bringing yet, but we'll be there towing off, so we'll be there regardless. I don't think I'll be at Road Rage, but we'll definitely be at Mini Meltdown.
Probably won't be 70 Lincolns.
No.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the win. Outstanding performance, and that could have fallen any which way, but for you guys to sweep the podium, no matter what the order is, it was very cool.
Yeah, we were proud. Thank you.
Very
Well
cool.
done, man. I appreciate you making some time for us while you're at work. I'll let you get back to it. Congratulations again, and we'll see you soon.
All righty. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Goes Robert Groth popping in real quick. We got some messages, people that are noticing things from it. Like I said, Tommy Gorman, his boy, ran his first Derby at Bash for Cash.
Very cool.
Bass, which was awesome. That's very cool. James Sisko, we'll circle back to that. Adrian and Groff, I don't know if you caught that during the feature, the fist bumps
Yes.
in the middle.
Yeah. I saw that a couple times. That's pretty cool.
And they didn't boo that.
No.
The fans weren't booing that one.
Yeah.
If,
Because they were running 40.
I'm pretty confident that if Nathan and Dave had fist bumped in the middle of their feature, that there would have been a riot.
Yeah. People got grumpy when Brett and I fist bumped at Waterloo. I don't know why.
You know why Brett fist bumped you?
Why?
Because he was going to shut off for you.
I don't care. They gave you the big trophy, the big check. It's all good.
The 80s wire class, James was a maniac. James Sisko.
Yes.
In the 27 out there.
He had a little frustration to take care of. They didn't have the most fun getting out there. And James is a pretty laid-back dude. And I feel like he, let go of some frustrations in the wire class.
He got buried in one of the cars that he hit got buried in there.
Yeah.
And then the back end bent all kinds of funny.
Yeah.
But he had a good run out there. Butch had a good run in the wire class. I can't remember all the 80s wire class winners. I think we hit on most of them.
Yeah, they were great. It was great. I told Tim, I said, I'm not a promoter, but if I was, I said, I think it's 470 wire classes, 480 wire classes. I think everybody goes home happy from that show.
Yep.
But
And all of them 2,000 to win.
Yep. I'm not a promoter, so.
With $2,000 Mad Dogs. They call it good.
How would you pick a Mad Dog in heats like that?
How?
Yeah. How hard would it be to pick a Mad Dog?
Well,
Just one.
It's no different than breaking sticks versus not breaking sticks. If you put a Mad Dog prize out there that pays $2,000, and you put 20 cars out there, there's going to be one person that there's going to be 4 or 5 people that hold out for the money, like we heard earlier. Just weather the storm, just stay out of the way. And there's going to be a couple people that have bad luck, or they get on the receiving end of something and they're out. But you're going to have 12 to 20 people out there that are just flat out running for it. Only one of them takes the money, and the rest of them are going to be mad because you were biased, because you missed, because you. It's the same.
It's hard
thing.
to do.
It's the same thing.
Yes,
it's the
it's
same
hard to
argument with, but this time it's over within 7 minutes versus 67.
Yep, you're right.
A lot of folks a fan of the W body win.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely. But I thought the compacts got after it. I thought that was a hard hitting feature, front to back.
That was a fun feature.
Yeah, it was like the one AMC that got bent under the firewall. It bent up like this. Like it was, the nose was pointing down.
That was one of the Ruts Fab cars. That was the number 47. Yeah.
And the back end was like this, and it was literally teepeed in the middle. That was kind of strange.
This isn't letting me type in. There we go. Trying to keep up on everything.
What do you think, Chris Marquart?
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that we don't have any W Body Nation. Just trying to make sure we don't have too many loose ends. I know we didn't cover everything with didn't cover everything with Bash for Cash tonight. I know we didn't do that. We had no intentions of getting through it. It usually takes 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We wanted to make sure to hit on the other stuff that was happening this weekend as well, and make sure we made note of the upcoming road rage and upcoming spinning wheel stuff here locally for us in New York. Final thing that was a little bit tough. We found out over the weekend that Zach Riggs had passed away unexpectedly. So that left some ripples through the community in a big way. Above all else, to Zach Riggs, who was an Army Ranger. Thank you for your service on Memorial Day. Tough weekend. Makes it sting a little bit more knowing that he was an Army Ranger, and I didn't know that until all the stuff transpired this weekend. But also seeing all the posts and the obvious struggle that Zach was going through for it to go the way that it did is really sad. Thinking of his family and for his little ones left behind, and I understand a lot of people had reached out, try to have the conversation, and try to make it build to something. I remember way back when all that happened, there was some rumor that he was going to be appearing on our show, and we weren't going to get in the middle of exposing the secrets and getting into the promoter nonsense. But at the same time, hindsight, I wish I had done a little bit more, maybe to at least have that conversation, because you never know what conversation is the one that makes the difference.
Hindsight's always 20/20.
It is. I know it is.
That's the tough part of life.
Yep. It is. Wait a second. We're missing some stuff here. Let's see. Catching up on all the comments here. It's been a busy night. We were screaming for Dodd on the side. We were thrilled for a W body to win, and crowd liked our stock class more than any other class. Says Dave Bongiovanni. I agree with that. Mm-hmm. That stock class was. That's when Dave was working at the Chautauqua County Fair in Dunkirk, and then also involved with the Lake Erie Rumble Charity Derby. And that stock class was always the most popular. And we've said on the show a bunch of times, and I still think that it has legs, that the county fair is so popular. The county fair type show is so popular because the cars don't look like behemoths. The trunk's falling off. There's smoke. There's steam, and fenders are falling to the side and whatever. Mm-hmm. And they look like they've been through a battle. Yeah. And I think that there's some weight to that. Pat Della's been to Supra, and Tommy's brother ran out of gas. Taylor Lane in his first demo at Bash for Cash in the wagon was the only Ford wagon. I love seeing that.
And I didn't see him take a big shot to break that tire off. He did a good job though. He was getting around. He made a couple nice hits, and then there was that red flag, and one car moved, and I seen the tire was laying. I don't know when he took that shot.
And there it is, right there. Eric Remington's comment was backed up by Christy that Taylor not only got to run the first time, but it was in a car that some people would kill to drive. It was a well-built car. Steve knows those. Steve knows those wagons. Knows those wagons for sure. Mm-hmm. Hank Pensek put on just about as many miles as Jeffy this weekend.
Oh my goodness!
Hank is watching right now.
Hank is a derby dude, but Hank is a dad first. He came down Friday night and rode with Jackson. Mm-hmm. Then he drove home Saturday morning to watch AJ graduate. Yep. And then he drove back Sunday to watch Jackson run with Uncle Pat. So I saw Hank was walking by, and I said, "Hammer and Hank." And I had both my hoods up, and I kind of pulled them back. He was like, "Ah!" and gave me a big hug and talked to me for a few minutes.
And he got a ticket. Oh no.
Hank is a great dude. Hank is a professional fireman, which means he signed up to put his life on the line for somebody else pretty much every day. And that's the kind of guy Hank is. He's a great guy, a huge heart, loves the sport. So it's always good to see Hank.
Yep. So Hank got a ticket trying to get back in time. It was a 60-mile-an-hour zone. He was a scotch over.
Well, it was funny. I know when we were running along, and I said, I wonder how fast the 70 speed limit, because if it's 65, you run a little bit over. And I was like, how fast do you think 70 is? And Chris was like, I'd keep it right around 70. I didn't, but we were lucky we didn't. we didn't get any tickets on the way there or the way out or the way back, so we were good.
Hank says he's blushing. Billy Benoit, 1,100 miles round trip from Florida and up.
He had a very good run in the turn back the clock. If he hadn't got hung up, he would have been somebody at the end. That car was tough.
I think Billy won the first Iron City promotion show in Florida. He beat Mark.
Yeah, no, Steve. Came down to him and Steve. Very, very well. Schumann had a very well-built car. I don't remember what took him out. Turn back the clock. Schumann was the last name. I can't remember. Brian. There you go. That feature was up for grabs. So.
Yep. Devon's street stock came from Hank.
Yes, it did. We forgot that part. Hank towed it down and got it 90% ready, towed it down. Devon finished it up and went out and was hitting people with that. And what class is Friday? Wasn't the pro stock heat he ran it in?
It was a street stock.
Street stock heat.
Front wheel drive street stock. He built the car in 2 hours and still failed tech.
Well, them Canadians,
wires. He cut the wires to the airbags, but didn't take the airbags out. Got to meet TJ McCulloch. That was cool. Good to see him. I think he probably had a shot at winning if he didn't have some misfortune there in the middle of the track in the purple 413.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Final things. I know I had more notes in my phone that I didn't check. Double check that last bit. I see you. Yes, I'm getting to that. I want to make sure I got the other stuff taken care of before we get to everything else. Tyler Dulles, Dave, Mike, New York, Elbow. So, we covered everything that we were supposed to cover. The last thing that we didn't get to was Ian Doyle.
Won the RC Derby.
Yep.
The question was, when he got done, could he put the taillights back in it? Or
no.
Really?
No.
He was driving hard?
It was 2.5 hours, so hard is a relative term.
All right.
It was dented up pretty good. First Bash for Cash RC Derby that was contested without Ed Brewster there, so that was certainly a little bittersweet. And the Cisco's had tributes. All the Cisco's had tributes to Ed and JMW Motorsports on their car, which was really, really good to see.
Was it Butch's car or James' car had a memorial for Martin as well? One of them did, and I can't remember which one it was. They took like 12 cars out there, so one of them had a remembrance for Martin.
And Patrick Dellis's trunk lid had a portrait, which was awesome. That looked great, and he was convinced that Martin was looking over for him, and man.
Well, Martin's a gully, and we know how Jeremy Gully drives, so it all could work together. Let's be honest, it could all go together. So yes, my apologies to Patrick. That was an amazing portrait of Martin, and I know Jody commented, and they were very touched. So it was great to see. And because my wife is the smarter of the two, I got my Martin sweatshirt, and she said, I sent two sweatshirts. She said, I know you want to wear the Martin one, but you were kind of a slob, so why don't you wear this one instead so you don't get anything on it? So Friday night I had my Martin one on underneath and my blue one over it. So, it was
Butch's 80s car had Vietnam vets down the side.
Yes, it did.
It was the relic car, had JMW Motorsports and a bunch of memories of Ed on that car.
Yep.
So I think that covers everything. So congratulations to Ian Doyle. The Warnicks were overseeing the Derby in honor of the show must go on. Ing for JMW. Kathy couldn't make it, but they took the helm, did a good job there. 2.5 hours. 2.5 hour feature for Ian. It was 30 cars plus in the feature.
Was Ian the only New Yorker that went out?
I don't think so.
I know Tom didn't go out. I asked T-Bell if he was going. He said he wasn't going, so I don't know if
I saw Nate White was there. Jamie St. Mary had an RC car in his pit stall.
Yeah.
So
he had some bad luck. Donnie had some bad luck. Hartzell.
Yep.
But
Joe Sickles, first bash that I froze at. Never thought it'd be cold at bash.
I enjoyed it.
That. You were talking about Uncle Pat in the passenger seat of Jackson's SMW youth car.
Yep.
Pat had watched most of the show up to that point and pointed out to Jackson that he had better get on it, or he had better have a cup holder and ashtray, because there's no way he wants to ride right out there for 2 hours without it.
Yeah. And Jackson made it down a ways in the youth class as well. He did a nice job. He was making some pretty smart hits. Doing well. So, And I got to talk to him a little bit, and it sounds like that he's going to be following his footsteps and his sister's footsteps and ending up with some sort of scholarship for bowling.
Fantastic.
So that's awesome.
Good deal.
So I'm always happy to see kids excel in sports and help them pay for college. There's nothing that makes me happier.
So we need to have Hank out here. This is some news that I didn't know about. We got to get out of here too. Hank is running Deadman.
Yes, he told me this.
In the Imperial versus Crown Vic class and the two-man extreme class with Jackson.
He told me this Friday night. I forgot to tell you.
We need to get them out here to talk about that.
Yeah.
For sure.
That would be cool.
We'll get TJ on the phone for it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be good. But I'm looking at the clock and I'm getting a little bit nervous. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, we had a good, nice long show tonight. So
we did. I got a live rules meeting tonight at 9:00 that I got to be at in Discord too. So we got to get this one done so we can get back and get that taken care of. That is going to do it for us here on episode number 358. We appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us for a little while. Thanks so much to our guests for making some time, and congratulations to all the winners out there. Again, we're going to pick this up again next Monday with a couple other follow-ups with some promoter side of things, and then we'll be looking a little bit more ahead to Mini Meltdown as well. Look forward to seeing everybody then. Have a good week. Be safe.
The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.